The Shark Deck.
Hey, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. The topic: Trump. Stephen Colbert said, what if he goes to jail? He could end up the head of a violent white supremacist gang, but in prison this time. Colbert tagged it with, the head of the arraignment, former President Trump flew from Florida to New York and landed at LaGuardia Airport. Yeah, he was smart. Nothing helps ease you into prison like spending time at LaGuardia. Jimmy Fallon, same topic. Trump flew from Florida to New York, then he was arrested. He's basically doing a reverse spring break. Roy Wood Jr. finally got a chance to host The Daily Show. It took you guys long enough. The upside with Trump's DNA, now the NYPD can probably solve a bunch of cold cases from the 80s. It's a robust day again here at Daily Comedy News. So much news. I've kicked a bunch of stories to tomorrow. Tomorrow's podcast is already really good, including information about a new Bobcat Goldthwait album. But how can I not lead with Jim Gaffigan, John Mulaney, and Mike Birbiglia doing a concert together? Yeah, it's not bad when Mike Birbiglia is the third biggest act on a show. Gaffigan, Mulaney, and Birbigs will team up for a benefit show at the Georgetown Scholars Program. This will happen May 1st at the Brooklyn Academy of Music. Nick Kroll will appear virtually. Jackie Novak will also perform not virtually. Jim Gaffigan says, really looking forward to the show. Insanely talented lineup for the great cause of the first-generation college students. Yeah, that's fantastic. On YouTube today, the big Jay Oakerson special. By the way, there have been over 150 comedy specials already this year. I'm going to get into that on the weekend. Whitney Cummings tweeted? What is tweeted? Why don't you edit that out, John? Because I want you to hear that I said the word tweeted. Whitney Cummings tweeted, the roast of Bert Kreischer, now streaming for free at OnlyFans TV/Bert.roast. That's not actually the URL. It's OF.TV/BERT-ROAST. Don't act like you didn't have it bookmarked. Whitney says, it's bat crazy if I say so myself. Fave joke, ? So it's streaming for free now. I haven't seen it yet. I think it was $10 over the weekend. If it's already free, it probably didn't do that well, and she wants to get people to watch the next one, would be my guess. I'm not sure. It wasn't always free. Really not sure. I had $10 in my head for some reason. Who knows? Anyway, I've yet to see any reviews of it, so I don't think that was widely watched other than the Reddit stuff I told you about yesterday. Whitney Cummings spoke to Yahoo and said, remember the last couple of years, it turned into like comedians had to be on moral high ground all of a sudden? It's like we went from idolizing Richard Pryor, who on stage went into hitting his wife and doing crack, and now we're like, this comedian didn't post a black square at the right time and should be canceled. It's like, wait a second, hold on. So I think comedians right now, we're having so much pressure put on us to be perfect, and I think we just kind of want to remind everyone, like, we're kind of scumbags. Don't put us on pedestals. We're just here for entertainment. Why OnlyFans? Whitney said, I went on there, and it's like teachers making money for school supplies and women wearing a bikini to pay for their mom's surgery. And I'm like, that is so sad. And I'm like, that is awesome. You know, I see girls on Instagram doing way more degrading things for free, and I'm hearing about these success stories, and I'm like, okay, I'm totally in. Whitney added, there's really no network at the moment where comedians feel like they can go for it and take risks. Even on Netflix, that's sort of the place we were all going. And then with what happened with Chappelle, even though they didn't necessarily pull the special, there was a mass shaming from their own employees. Seems like she didn't like the Comedy Central roasts. So she put in some rules. She said, so I was like, what if we did the roast where no one ever got hurt? It never felt mean. I'm going to make all these changes that when I was writing the roast, things that I wish would have happened. Like when someone is being insulted or roasted, I made a split screen so you could see them when the joke is hitting, so you can see that they didn't get their feelings hurt. There'll be no jokes about comedians being pedophiles or rapists if they're not, because that's not funny. I just made sure everyone was protected and nothing was going to feel cringy and sadistic. I think it was Bob the drag queen who went, Whitney's drag name would be Botox Horseface. Dan Levy gets up and says, here we are taking unprovoked shots at a talented woman. I feel like Alec Baldwin. That's a great joke. Cummings said, we're just long overdue to go, oh my God, that painful thing that happened. All we can do is laugh, and the things you're not allowed to say, and then you hear it. You kind of laugh, you scream, you look around, holy moly, someone said it, and then you move on. It's a form of healing. Tony Rock, brother of Chris Rock, said that Will Smith did not call Chris Rock a few days after the famous incident. Will Smith had said that he did. Tony Rock says, that wasn't true. That wasn't true. I think like 2 nights later, I reached out to Chris and he didn't want to talk. That wasn't true. Will Smith cast Tony Rock in the 2005 romantic comedy Hitch. Tony said he's surprised that Will Smith never reached out to him either. He doesn't owe me anything. I just thought we were better than that. My phone number has never changed. I just thought I'd get a phone call one day like, hey, let's just you and I talk. It hasn't happened, so I guess it's not going to happen. Just for Laughs and Netflix have signed a 3-year comedy deal for 3 French stand-up comedy specials. That's neat. Netflix also did a deal with Mae Martin. I guess Mae's special did pretty well for them. May has received a limited series order for Tall Pines, a mystery thriller in which Mae Martin will star and showrun. Tall Pines is set in a bucolic yet sinister town, that sounds original, that explores the insidious underbelly of the troubled teen industry and the eternal struggle between one generation and the next. If you like what I do here, why don't you buy me a coffee? Oh no, it's Wednesday. Why don't you buy me a beer? Yeah, it's brewery night trivia. Actually, it's the last trivia night because in the summer, we become a volleyball team. So this is our last appearance at trivia. So that's a good night to buy me a beer. Go to buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. Click the Buy Me a Coffee button, and then I will misappropriate your funds. And I will put it towards a beer at the brewery tonight. Thank you in advance. Buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. My kind of headline from the Daily Beast. Are you ready? The headline: Murder Mystery 2 is Adam Sandler crap comedy at its worst. Subheadline, in all caps, where are the laughs? Are people finally coming around to Johnny Mac's way of thinking? The Daily Beast writes, Sandler's Netflix comedy output had a bad reputation even before this dreadful, jokeless sequel hit the streamer. Still, who would have thought the movie could really be this bad? Me? Anyway, Murder Mystery 2, a follow-up that, as with so many Sandler efforts, feels like a ritzy vacation for its stars masquerading as a legitimate movie. Written once again by James Vanderbilt, it dispenses about as many good jokes as its predecessor, which is to say, none. I love this review. Sandler was wise in 2014 to hitch his wagon to Netflix, considering that his increasingly slapdash Happy Madison productions are far more appealing as living room distractions than as night-out entertainments. Nonetheless, the fact that he's soon reteaming with the Safdie brothers, that's welcome news because of their prior collaboration, Uncut Gems, which, as you know, no sarcasm, is the greatest of the Adam Sandler films. Legitimately great movie. Adam, please do more of that, please. But the Beast writes, it's great that he's working with the Safdies because it means the star will temporarily be prevented from making more dreck like this. Can't get enough of it. Drew Carey annoyed some people at the big famous satellite radio company. Well, not the bosses, the listeners. Drew apparently hosts something called Friday Night Freakout, except last Friday, he used an artificially generated version of his voice to handle most of his DJ work, reading a script written by ChatGPT. At first, I was thinking, did Drew get really lazy and get caught? But apparently it was a bit. I heard the clip, and the clip clearly admits that it's an AI reading an AI script, so he didn't try to pull one over on everybody. Drew Carey said, I violated a rule from Radio 101. The reason FM stations and treasured radio stations still make money is because people like the personality of the DJs. You don't have to be like a big boss radio guy and be phony. You can just talk. That's what the listeners like. Carey said he got the message. Don't do it again. From Sportskeeda, American comedian Randy Rainbow won over the internet after he released a parody song aimed at Donald Trump's indictment. Rainbow has uploaded a 4-minute video, which begins with a fake interview between Trump and Randy Rainbow for a fake news channel. The video then cuts to a song put to the melody of Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy of Company B. Some of the lyrics, and I won't even attempt. He was a sleazy showbiz phony born in NYC who somehow won the White House over Hillary. I'm sure Randy Rainbow did it much better. I'm not even going to attempt. The song also jokes about Trump looking like a butternut squash. Let's take a look at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. Now, today's problem with the website, I started to load it on Chrome because that worked better yesterday, and I clicked on Thursday, and it loaded the Wednesday schedule. So I went back to Safari, and I clicked on Thursday, and it loaded the Wednesday schedule. So I clicked on Friday, and it is now telling me that this is Thursday's schedule, and I'm looking at the long version of the URL, and I've manually tweaked it. So in the URL, it is saying 6 April. So I think this is Thursday night's lineup, but you're either in Melbourne or you weren't going anyway. And it's just fun to talk about these comedy shows. Let's see what's going on tonight. It's Alice Fraser's Twist. The Edinburgh Guide calls it breathtakingly funny, relatable, meaningful, and hilarious. Let's take a listen.
Hello. I want to take a brief moment to pay homage to all of the real victims of the pandemic, which were the people who had just had their lips done and Botox. Had to hide their beautiful mouths behind a mask while struggling to express anything. Any parents in the audience? Yes? Anyone given birth? It's an incredible thing. You made a person inside yourself, out of yourself, who's going to be sad when you die. Or at the very least, ambivalent. Come on. That's an amazing thing. If you've got the boobs and you're doing the boob thing, then you get to be food. Again, incredible. You're not giving this enough credit. Like when Jesus does it, it's a big deal.
And Christy Webeck's show is called A Bit of Fun. Not much of a description. It just says, take a break from the doom scrolling, drag yourself away from Netflix, and join your new bestie for a bit of fun. The Age called it a perfect choice. Let's listen.
I was in the supermarket recently and a small child yelled out at me, "Hey, you look like a man." And I said, "Can you please tell that to my boss so it's reflected in my pay?" Just like, boom, just got him. I don't even have a boss, you know. Like in your face, in aisle 4 you'll find the tea, coffee and some sass about the gender pay gap. I was in an Uber recently and the driver said to me, "I thought your name was Kirsty." And I said, "It is." And I thought, this is going to be good. And he said, yeah, right, I thought Kirsty was a girl's name. And there was not enough time to explain that gender is a social construct. So I said, "It is a girl's name." And he said, "That sucks, bro."
And that is your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your shows. See you tomorrow.
Hello, I am Mark Francis, host of a daily podcast about the British royal family called Palace Intrigue. Did you see what Meghan Markle did in her latest documentary? Or what Prince Harry said in his new book? Well, the kings and queens and princes and princesses are ready to explode. Andrew is ready to implode. Royal sources are chomping at the bit. The in-laws just can't stop. The UK tabloids are about to burst. Americans can't get enough. The kids can't get any cuter. The press can't get any uglier. And Wills and Kate? Well, they're just wonderful. Get your daily dose of gossip and news from the world's most royal family. Follow Palace Intrigue on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your shows.